The Squirrel's Guide to Nonduality by then Lilla Ekorren. Welcome! Greetings, fellow traveler, on the path of self-discovery. I, a humble squirrel, am here to guide you through the intricacies of non-duality, a concept that transcends the boundaries of separation and reveals the profound interconnectedness of all beings. Imagine a world where the illusion of me and other dissolves, where the boundaries between ourselves and the universe dissolve, and we experience the true essence of oneness. That, my dear friend, is the essence of non-duality. As you embark on this journey of enlightenment, I invite you to learn from the wisdom of nature. For it is in the simplicity of a squirrel's life that we find profound lessons. Observe our effortless grace as we navigate the branches of the trees, our unwavering focus on the present moment, and our harmonious coexistence with the natural world. Within these pages, you will find stories that weave together the teachings of non-duality with the playful antics of squirrels. Through these tales, you will discover the power of presence, the illusion of self, the flow of life, the oneness of all things, and the path to enlightenment. So, dear reader, as you open this book, prepare to embark on a transformative journey into the heart of non-duality. Let the words and stories guide you. Let the squirrel's wisdom inspire you, and let the essence of unity awaken within you. Welcome to the Squirrel's Guide to Non-Duality, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the ordinary squirrel becomes a teacher of profound wisdom. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Separation. A Squirrel's Reflection. The squirrel is a creature of nature, living in harmony with the world around it. We can learn from the squirrel's example to let go of our ego, fixation with ourselves, and experience the interconnectedness of all things. Turbulence. We live in turbulent times. Impressions come at us constantly, from all sides. We humans are not really built for this. We are made to go slowly through life, which actually takes a pretty good time for us to complete. It all comes down to this in the end, to find our true well-being, to see existence from the right and most natural perspective possible. Therefore, what washes over us is not fundamentally the problem. The stress we can feel to handle the world's own problems and moments of joy comes from within. We are the stress, but also the joy. Everything is already in place when you are born into this circus of tones and colors. Look, a squirrel. Something happens that makes the world stop. A different perspective. You see the attention and the intense experience that takes place in the meeting with us. We are in a territory that should preferably not be crossed. Then the tail starts up and it clicks and signals from the little squirrel. But is the squirrel stressed? Only on the outside. The inner squirrel sits there calm and composed in its perfect squirrelness. What is there to worry about, really? In the next moment, it is always forgotten. The wind rustles in the tree where the squirrel sat. The leaves have no memory of the event either. Nature continues in its industrious play. Disasters come, but what is the use of thinking about them now? Life goes on after all. Your inner squirrel. The squirrel watches as the human walks away. It shakes its head and continues on its way. The human is so preoccupied with its own thoughts and worries that it does not even notice the squirrel's presence. The squirrel, on the other hand, is completely present in the moment. It is not thinking about the past or the future. It is simply enjoying the present experience. The squirrel knows that life is full of ups and downs. There will be times of joy and times of sorrow. But the squirrel also knows that life is always changing. What is happening now will not last forever. The squirrel trusts that the natural order of things will eventually bring balance and peace. The peace we seek. This is the peace that we all want and seek. Perhaps we search for it in ashrams in India, or we rush through books to find answers to the questions that gnaw at us. What is gnawing at us? It is the little squirrel that wants to be heard. The one who always knew and did what it needed to do when it needed to be done. The one who lives according to the natural order and remains calm in times of turmoil. The squirrel within. For a moment, imagine this squirrel growing inside you until it fills your entire being. Imagine yourself as this natural being with a unique signature that drew you to it when you saw it in pictures or in real life. In the squirrel's eye, you see the truth speaking to you, a deep connection with your entire existence where all barriers break down. You and the squirrel, one. You and nature, one. The truth sings within you, sending an echo to everyone in the world. Something wonderful has happened. A human has been transformed into a squirrel. Now is the time for more mysteries. Let all the mysteries come and follow, be fulfilled in our true reality. The truth is here and now. Take your place in the world and let truth sing through you. The squirrel's message. The squirrel has a message for us. It tells us to live in the present moment, to trust in the natural order of things, and to remain calm in times of turmoil. It also tells us that we are all connected and that we are all part of something larger than ourselves. The squirrel is a symbol of wisdom and non-duality. It reminds us that we are all one, and that we are all connected to the natural world. When we live in harmony with nature, we can experience true peace and happiness. The squirrel's gift. The squirrel offers us a gift. It is the gift of presence, the gift of trust, and the gift of peace. When we accept these gifts, we can transform our lives and experience the true nature of reality. The squirrel is a wise teacher. It can teach us how to live in harmony with nature and with each other. When we listen to the squirrel's message, we can open our hearts to the beauty and wonder of the world around us. The squirrel's blessing. May the squirrel bless us with its wisdom, its presence, and its peace. May we learn to live in harmony with nature and with each other. May we open our hearts to the beauty and wonder of the world around us. Chapter 2. The Power of Presence. A squirrel's reflection. True happiness comes from being present in the moment. When we are present, we are not distracted by our thoughts or worries, and we can appreciate the beauty of the world around us. Beyond the veil of duality, a squirrel's wisdom. In the literary landscape of spirituality, the question of duality often remains veiled. The assumption of reality in need of improvement pervades the texts, without delving deeper into the underlying structure. Duality, like an invisible veil, colors our perception of the world. It creates an artificial dichotomy. I, here inside, the world out there. Boundaries and distances are established, worlds categorize, and everything has its place. Black and white, with no room for nuances. The power of now. Time, often regarded as a linear stream with a fleeting past and an uncertain future, loses its power in the light of the present moment. The only thing that exists, the only thing that is real, is this very moment. Thoughts of yesterday or tomorrow unfold within this now. To open oneself to this now, to merge with its consciousness, that is the essence. Anger, anxiety, all emotions, they arise and subside in the present. The disarming effect of non-duality shows us that nothing needs to linger longer than the storm's powerful yet fleeting passage. Squirrels, the little wisdom keepers, show the way. Their intuitive ability to gather nuts adapts automatically to their needs. They gather more in times of scarcity, relying on their inherent wisdom. The inner source of peace. Thoughts and worries, often seen as enemies, are actually tools, messengers from our deepest selves. If, in accordance with duality, we strive to get rid of them, what will be left? Of course, in severe cases, medical help is needed, but in everyday life. The truth is that deep wisdom struggles to be heard within us. It wants to break through the patterns we have created, to free us from mental shackles. It is the life force in its purest form, the ultimate medicine for our souls. The field of presence. The more we pay attention to the presence of the present moment, the more a field of infinite potential opens up. Religions have struggled to describe this in words, but language falls short. It is rather an inner leap, where boundaries blur and are replaced by a void, as deep as it's spacious, vibrating with meaningfulness. We can experience it in moments of flow, during a jog, or in the stillness of meditation. Reality, in its naked essence, takes over mind control. Thoughts fall away, and the field of presence opens up. The gift of existence. We may consider these moments as fleeting experiences, with no lasting effects. But to start notice them, the short breaks in the business, is the first step. Each time we rediscover the feeling of being, it touches us more deeply. We contemplate our existence with the same focused interest as a squirrel contemplates a walnut on the bird table. The whole environment is scanned, but the focus is on the precious gift. The existence of presence is our true birthright, a gift to be cherished with reverence. Why waste time on brooding and worrying when we can surrender to the magnificent reality that embraces us? The squirrel's tale. In a lush forest, a squirrel family thrived. Nimble and curious, they darted through the trees, gathering nuts for the coming winter. One day, a young squirrel named Pip encountered a strange sight. A human, sitting still and silent, was observing the forest with a gentle gaze. Intrigued, Pip approached the human. The human smiled and offered Pip a nut. The squirrel hesitated, unsure of this strange creature. But hunger won over fear, and Pip took the nut. As he did, a strange feeling washed over him, a sense of peace, of connection, of being one with the forest, with the human, with everything. From that day on, Pip would often visit the human. They would sit together in silence, sharing the company of the forest. And in those moments, Pip would experience the profound truth of non-duality. He will see that there was no separation between himself and the human, between the forest and the sky, between the seen and the unseen. All was one, and all was well. Chapter 3. The Illusion of Self. The squirrel's reflection. The self is an illusion, a construction of our mind. When we let go of our ego, we can experience true freedom and liberation. The construct of self. The notion of self that we cling to is a construct, a collection of thoughts, memories, and projections. This construct creates a sense of separation, an artificial boundary that defines me in contrast to other. It is this very boundary that limits our understanding and experience of true reality. When examined closely, the self is seen to be a transient and insubstantial collection of perceptions and ideas, constantly shifting and never truly solid. In the teachings of non-duality, the dissolution of this illusory self reveals our true nature. We are not the limited entities we perceive ourselves to be, but the boundless awareness within which all experiences arise. This awareness is clear, open, and ever-present, unchanging amidst the flux of thoughts and feelings. The nature of ego. Ego is the sense of individual identity that arises from this construct of self. It is the voice in our head that claims ownership of our experiences and desires, constantly reinforcing the illusion of separateness. Ego thrives on differentiation, creating conflicts and anxiety that obscure our inherent peace. Non-duality invites us to see through this illusion. By observing the ego without attachment, we begin to disidentify from its narratives. We realize that we are not the thoughts and emotions we experience. Rather, we are the space within which they occur. This space is vast and limitless, untouched by the transient dramas of the mind. The freedom of no self. Letting go of the ego is not about destroying it, but understanding its illusory nature. When we see through the illusion of self, we find a profound sense of freedom. This freedom is not an escape from reality, but a deeper immersion into it, where the boundaries between self and other dissolve. In this state of no self, there is a natural flow of life. Actions arise spontaneously, not from a place of personal desire, but from the seamless unfolding of existence. This is true liberation, living in harmony with the present moment, free from the constraints of a constructed identity. Squirrel's story, The Mirror in the Puddle. One day, a curious squirrel named Whiskers noticed his reflection in a clear puddle. At first, he thought it was another squirrel, a separate being. But as he looked closer, he realized it was merely a reflection, an illusion. This realization brought Whiskers a sense of peace. He understood that just as the reflection was not another squirrel, his own sense of self was an illusion, a mere reflection of his thoughts. Chapter 4. The Flow of Life. A squirrel's perspective. Life is a river, flowing constantly and without end. We can either resist this flow or surrender to it. When we surrender, we find peace and happiness. The nature of flow. Life, in its essence, is a continuous flow. Every moment unfolds seamlessly into the next, creating a dynamic, ever-changing tapestry of experiences. This flow is natural and spontaneous, requiring no effort or intervention. However, the mind often resists this flow, clinging to the past or projecting into the future, disrupting the natural harmony. Non-duality teaches us to align with this flow, to move with life rather than against it. When we surrender to the present moment, we find a deep sense of peace and contentment. Resistance creates tension and suffering, while acceptance brings harmony and joy. The art of surrender. Surrendering to the flow of life does not mean passivity or inaction. It is an active engagement with the present moment, responding to life's circumstances with openness and clarity. This requires trust in the natural order of things, recognizing that every moment is exactly as it should be. In this state of surrender, we become like a river, adapting effortlessly to the changing landscape. Obstacles are not seen as hindrances, but as opportunities to deepen our understanding and connection with life. Through this perspective, we cultivate a sense of ease and grace in our daily existence. The peace of presence. The peace we seek is not found in the past or future, but in the present moment. When we are fully present, we experience life in its purest form, unfiltered by the distortions of the mind. This presence is a state of being where thoughts and emotions arise and pass without attachment, leaving a clear open space of awareness. In this space, we find true happiness. It is not dependent on external circumstances, but arises from within, from the very essence of our being. This inner peace is the foundation of a fulfilling and harmonious life, where we are aligned with the flow of existence. Squirrel story. The river's embrace. One hot summer day, Whiskers decided to venture into the river that flowed through the forest. As he allowed the current to carry him downstream, he felt a profound sense of peace. The river's flow mirrored the flow of life, effortless, natural, and ever-present. By surrendering to the river, Whiskers experienced the joy and tranquility of moving with the flow rather than resisting it. Chapter 5. The Oneness of All Things. The squirrel's perspective. All things are interconnected, part of a single unified whole. When we realize this, we experience true compassion and understanding. The web of life. The universe is a vast, interconnected web where every being and element is intrinsically linked. This interconnectedness means that nothing exists in isolation. Each part affects and is affected by the whole. Non-duality emphasizes this oneness, revealing that the perceived separations are merely illusions created by the mind. Recognizing this oneness transforms our perception of the world. We see that we are not isolated individuals, but integral parts of a larger unified existence. This understanding fosters compassion, as we realize that harming another is, in essence, harming ourselves. Compassionate living. When we live from the awareness of oneness, our actions naturally become more compassionate and empathetic. We see others not as separate entities, but as reflections of ourselves. This shift in perception breaks down barriers and cultivates a deep sense of empathy and understanding. Compassionate living is about recognizing and honoring interconnectedness of all life. It involves acting with kindness and generosity, knowing that these actions contribute to the harmony and well-being of the whole. In this way, our lives become expressions of love and unity. The universal heart. The realization of oneness opens our hearts to the universal love that permeates all existence. This love is not limited or conditional, but boundless and unconditional. It is the very fabric of our being, connecting us to everything and everyone. By tapping into this universal heart, we transcend the limitations of the ego and experience a profound sense of connection and belonging. This is the essence of non-duality, living in the awareness of our fundamental unity with all life. Squirrel's story, a lesson in generosity. One autumn day, Fleur noticed a younger squirrel struggling to find food. Moved by compassion, he shared one of his prized nuts with the little squirrel. This simple act of generosity deepened Fleur's understanding of oneness. He realized that in helping others, he was nurturing the entire web of life, fostering a sense of unity and connection. Chapter 6. The Path to Enlightenment. The Squirrel's Perspective. Enlightenment is the goal of non-duality. It is the state of being free from ego and fully connected to the universe. The journey to enlightenment. Enlightenment is the realization of our true nature beyond the illusion of the self. It is a state of being where the ego's boundaries dissolve, revealing the boundless infinite awareness that we truly are. This state is not a distant goal, but a recognition of the ever-present reality within us. The path to enlightenment involves a deep inquiry into the nature of our existence. It requires us to look beyond the surface of our thoughts and emotions, to the space in which they arise. This space is our true self, clear, open, and unchanging. The practice of presence. The practice of presence is a key aspect of the journey to enlightenment. By being fully present in each moment, we begin to disidentify from the mind's chatter and connect with our true nature. This presence is the doorway to enlightenment, a state of pure awareness that is always accessible. Through meditation and mindful living, we cultivate this presence, allowing it to permeate our daily lives. Each moment becomes an opportunity to deepen our connection to the present, to live from the awareness of our true self. The light of awareness. Enlightenment is often described as awakening to the light of awareness. This light, the essence of our being, illuminating the truth of non-duality. It is the clear, open space within which all experiences arise and pass, untouched and unchanged. Living in this light brings a profound sense of peace and clarity. We see the world as it truly is, free from the distortions of the ego. This clarity allows us to navigate life with wisdom and compassion, grounded in the awareness of our interconnectedness. Squirrel's story. The climb to enlightenment. Whiskers felt a deep calling to climb the tallest tree in the forest, the great oak. As he reached the highest branch, he looked out over the vast expanse of the forest, feeling a profound sense of peace and connection. Perched atop the great oak, Whiskers experienced the essence of enlightenment, a state of being fully present and deeply connected to the universe. Conclusion. The squirrel is a symbol of non-duality, reminding us of the interconnectedness of all things. By following the squirrel's example, we can let go of our ego and experience true freedom and happiness as we navigate the branches of life. May we embrace the wisdom of nature, live in the present moment. Embracing the wisdom of the squirrels. As we reach the end of our journey through the Squirrel's Guide to Non-Duality, let's take a moment to reflect on the profound yet simple lessons we've learned from our furry friends. Through the lens of non-duality, we've explored the nature of reality, the illusion of self, the flow of life, the interconnectedness of all things, and the path to enlightenment. Now, let us weave these insights into a tapestry of hope and a heartfelt call to practice the natural way of the squirrels. The illusion of separation. We began by recognizing the illusion of separation that pervades our perception. Like squirrels who effortlessly navigate the branches of the trees, we too can let go of our fixation on the self and experience the interconnectedness of all things. The world is not a collection of isolated entities, but a vibrant web of relationships where each being plays a unique and essential role. The power of presence. Through the power of presence, we learn to live fully in the moment. Just as a squirrel is fully immersed in the present as it gathers nuts and scampers through the forest, we too can find true happiness by being present. When we let go of distractions and worries, we open ourselves to the beauty and wonder of the world around us. The illusion of self. The journey continued as we delved into the illusion of self. We discovered that the ego is a construct, a collection of thoughts and beliefs that create a false sense of identity. By seeing through this illusion, we find true freedom and liberation. Like the squirrel who sees its reflection in the puddle and recognizes it as an illusion, we too can understand our true nature beyond the confines of the ego. The flow of life. Life is a continuous flow, a river that carries us along its ever-changing course. By surrendering to this flow, we find peace and contentment. The squirrel swimming effortlessly with the current teaches us the art of surrender, living in harmony with the present moment and trusting the natural order of things. The oneness of all things. The oneness of all things reveals the interconnectedness of the universe. When we recognize that we are all part of a single unified whole, we experience true compassion and understanding. Just as the squirrel shares its nuts with others, showing kindness and generosity, we too can live from a place of empathy and unity, fostering harmony and connection in our relationships. The path to enlightenment. Finally, we explore the path to enlightenment, the realization of our true nature beyond the illusion of self. Enlightenment is not a distant goal, but a state of being fully present and connected to the universe. The squirrels climb to the top of the great oak, symbolizes our own journey towards awakening, where we experience the boundless peace and clarity of our true nature. The small squirrelly summary. As we conclude our journey, let's carry forward the light-hearted spirit of our squirrel teachers. They remind us that the path to wisdom and enlightenment doesn't have to be serious or solemn. Instead, it can be filled with joy, curiosity, and playfulness. Imagine yourself as a squirrel, scampering through life with a sense of ease and grace. Embrace the present moment, trust in the natural flow of existence, and recognize oneness of all things. Let go of the illusion of self and live from the awareness of your true nature. By doing so, you'll find a profound sense of peace and happiness, just like our squirrel friends. May this book inspire you to live a natural life in peace and oneness, following the effortless way of the squirrels. As you navigate the branches of life, may you find joy in the simple moments, wisdom in the quiet spaces, and a deep connection to the world around you. Remember, the extraordinary wisdom of the squirrels is always within you, waiting to be embraced. So go forth, dear reader, with hope and a willingness to practice the natural way of living in harmony with all that is.